Hiya, pals. Hi, pals, and welcome to the Disneyland Paris Show. Here's your hosts, Lucy, Chris, and Hugh. Gosh. And now, Disneyland Paris News.
Disneyland Paris announced Fastpass will not be returning post-COVID. It is to be replaced with a paid system for jumping the queues called Premier Access.
Standby Pass is to be reintroduced to the parks following its trial last autumn.
Annual passes will be available for purchase and renewal from 15th of July. The date to apply for a refund has been extended to 6th of August.
And Fuente del Oro has changed to a snack-based menu ahead of its reopening on July the 12th.
Well, this is a bit different, Chris,
Cozy,
isn't it?
Yeah.
This is rather homely.
We're in the Fletcher wing.
The Fletcher Wing on 37 Disney Streets.
Indeed.
Yes.
We're on
Because it was
the
just easy.
squishies.
Well, we had to do it early because of the football. We can't
Yeah.
compete with that. So
No.
we've
Well, we
decided-
didn't want to take viewers away from the football, did we?
And I wanted to watch the
Yeah,
football.
It's not fair to the Euros.
The Euros,
Yeah.
if we clash with them, really. So,
I think you're right. It's the noble thing to do.
So we're getting cosy here for a change.
Yeah.
yeah. The children are having a whale of a time downstairs. They're testing Laura's patience, I believe. And
You might even hear them if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's why I had to mention it. They're right outside that window. And yet we're here to have a chat. Right, let me not dawdle any longer. Today we're going to talk about that news that you've just heard, and then we've got a bit of a cheeky discussion about a leaked document found on a cruise ship. I think you know what this is, but you haven't read it. You don't know what it is.
I don't know at all, no.
It's just a bit of a fun one. But we toyed whether to do a show this week. But then there's a couple of news bombs here that we were like, we have to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
We have to talk about this. I'll tell you which one that wasn't. That wasn't the Fuente del Oro one. So let's talk about that one first. And then we can go on to the slightly juicier ones. So we've got a new... I'm just showing the boys some pictures.
Well, can I just say I'm very excited to see that there's vegetables in sauce. Not unlike at the studios again. So that's quite fun. It's not cheese sauce this time, though.
No, it's fresh vegetables in salsa sauce.
In salsa, yeah.
Of all wonderful things. But...
That actually sounds quite nice.
Not a laughing cow in sight.
do you know, we briefly did a segment called What's Everyone Moaning About, didn't we?
Oh, you must be
It was called,
grumpy.
yeah, you must be grumpy.
You must be grumpy. And it was like, what's everyone moaning about? Well, this week, this has kind of been it. Because they used to serve quesadillas and fajitas and full quick service meals at Puente del Oro. Now it's come back and snack based. They now serve nachos, loaded nachos, fresh vegetables in salsa sauce, and then like
Churros.
falafel, churros, this kind of thing. I'm just looking at it. Stuffed jalapenos. So, but really snack-sized items. Chicken nuggets, that kind of thing. So they're not selling full meals anymore. And
Is that the only place that is like that, where it's like a restaurant, but they just sell snacks in that park?
it
That I can
must
think
be.
of,
Well,
yeah.
other than like the Main Street Bakery and the deli, but then they do sell like baguette sandwiches, don't they? So
This is like the side dishes that go with main meals in the restaurant.
yeah, it is. This is just sides. Now, I just find it a strange decision because it's a full restaurant with full seating.
Yeah.
But they're not selling full meals. So whether this is a deliberate COVID thing, whether they're going to keep the seating areas kind of cordoned off and they're encouraging people just to take out snacks, or maybe they think that there's a gap in the market because they do have other quick service places nearby. I don't know, but people were getting very upset about it again. How do you two feel? What do you think?
Well, do you know what? It's a shame because we've never actually been in, and it's the kind of food I like. Well, it was. It probably still is. But like, I can't imagine wanting to go in there for any of that stuff now. Like, maybe I don't know. If I do want to grab a frozen margarita, maybe I would. But it just seems strange. It just seemed like a bit of an ordeal to go into there just for one of these little snacks.
What I like is that it's affordable stuff. That's about all I like about it. And I like nachos. Nachos are good. So in that sense, quite reasonably happy about it. If you just wanted something quick and snacky, it's great. And I guess maybe it won't be as busy because of that potentially. So it might be all right.
The point about it being quick and snacky is if you walk around Disneyland Paris and you want something quick and snacky, you pass you pass food stalls, you pass small places like the La Bouche place, and you pass places like that and you go, oh, we'll pop in there and get that.
Yeah.
This looks like a full restaurant. It's even got a courtyard in front of it. So if somebody's looking for the lunch, they go in, they look at the menu, they'll walk out again. But if someone's looking for snacks, they won't look there. I think that's what I find strange. I personally have nothing against it. I'm not a big Mexican food fan, I can eat it, but I'd go in there and get some chicken nuggets if I was feeling snacky, or an ice cream or whatever. It just seems a bit of a mismatch from venue to menu.
Am I still quiet? I'm quiet apparently, and I'm always quiet.
I think...
in fact, I'm going to just check that.
It's a deliberate ploy, isn't it, Chris?
Well, I think Hugh doesn't project as well as you and I do, Lucy. It's our classic training.
I think I'm all right. I sound okay.
I asked the dreaded audio question, and we got answers, so now Hugh's looking into it.
See, that's how professionals do sound checks, by the way. I think it sounds all right, yeah.
I have to say, just on the sound front, I spend pretty much every week time trying to improve it from the week before, and every week it's another thing. And now we're in a different room, so the acoustics are different. So
there is a bit of a buzz coming from somewhere, but it's not too bad.
It was picking up the fan of the laptop quite heavily earlier on, so it could well be that.
Okay.
Yay.
Well, anyway, you can hear us.
Yeah.
Right. The
Just
other slightly innocuous thing, if it doesn't affect you, is that the annual passes are now available for repurchase. That is a little bit of a relief because they've not listed any prices, which makes us presume they are the same price, at least for the time being. I'm sure they'll go up soon, as they often do. And also, like Disney World, still aren't selling them a year after reopening. So it was kind of, oh, are they going to bring them back? Well, they have. They brought them back quite quick. We're all relieved. We can move on with our lives. There is the slightly annoying news that they've extended the date to apply for the refund to the 6th of August. Now, we were strong-armed, basically, because the original thing gave you about 8 days, did it, to make your decision. We were panicking. We had Florida booked. We thought, will we go, won't we go? We took the refund. Now it looks like Florida's not going ahead and we want to go to Paris with no annual passes. Whereas the 6th of August would have been just about a good deadline for us.
Everything's against us.
You can't catch a break, can you?
No, we can't catch a break. And like, even if everything was fine, at the moment, I won't be able to get through with my batch of Covishield AstraZeneca. So, like, it's just not fair. Let us go.
No,
We've done everything you've asked of us. I feel like John Locke at the end of that series where he's banging on the hatch saying, I've done everything.
Yeah, but then the light comes on, Hugh.
Yeah,
what if the light comes?
better come on.
So, do you know there's a bit of major news that I didn't put on the news. I'm going to save the other 2 bits of news. And I was driving here and I remembered we've had big travel updates here in the UK this week. Big travel updates, which basically amounts to the fact that we can now go to Disneyland Paris, which a week ago we couldn't. I can't believe I haven't mentioned that. I think it was so big on Thursday that it feels like a month ago already that news has come ahead. Basically, if you are double vaccinated, you don't have to quarantine on the way back, and you no longer have to quarantine there. Now, there are hoops to jump through as far as PCR tests and lateral flow tests, and I'm afraid I can't remember where they are or when they are. Can you?
No, not a clue.
But we're good, except for people who had an Indian batch of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Now, if you go on the BBC website, it gives you a batch number, and these are not currently accepted by the EU, so you can't go yet. Just Google it, go on the BBC website, you'll find it, and go on your little card that you got when you got vaccinated, and it'll tell you what your batch number was. Thing is, that what they're saying is it just hasn't been licensed yet.
It's just bureaucracy.
It's just bureaucracy.
It's just a bit of admin that needs sorting out.
And it's there in a lab somewhere just waiting to get signed off, basically. But it was just bad timing because they kind of realised this about the same time that we're talking about international travel. So, if you're booked this summer, I know some people have been telling us in the chat every week when they're going, you can go. Good luck to you. You can go, and we might be joining you. We might be joining you.
But if you do see us in the park, don't touch us.
Can say hello.
Oh
no, I just mean in a kind of like not in a COVID way. Just don't touch me.
Oh, that's nice. I'll hug you if we can.
And if any of you are going, there's a book I'm after.
We always have a shopping list. Well,
always
there's a spirit jersey that I'm after, so I'm quite glad. So if we don't go to Florida, we are going to try and go at the end of August to Paris, but it means we're going to have to buy new annual passes, which is very annoying.
Yeah, but
But then you would have got one anyway, wouldn't you?
We'd have got them at some point anyway.
Yeah. It's all good.
Right, shall we break into it then?
Okay.
I think I'm gonna.
Let's do this.
Do you want me to go through what it is, or do you want to go through what it is before you start talking about it?
Well, I think we need to just clarify what it is, because a lot of people are going nuts over this news. Mm-hmm. But let's logically discuss what it is and what it actually means to us before we get overexcited.
Okay.
We've already had some back and forth.
I had a very heated discussion with my wife today, this morning about it, because I knew it was something we were going to talk about later. So I thought I'm going to pick a fight with Laura, and that might help me firm up my stance.
All right, good. I look forward to hearing that as well. For the record, on our group chat, this came up, and I said, "I'll tell you what I think about this on Sunday." Enigmatically. And then you two decided not to do that and had a full debate in the group chat, didn't you?
Yeah, we normally save that stuff, but
we were just feeling so passionately about it.
So passionate.
Okay, so this is what's happened. You don't even know what we're talking about yet. Fastpass gate. Fastpasses are no longer a thing at Disneyland Paris. From the photos we've seen the last 24 hours, they have now removed the booths and they have removed the signage. They are gone. They will not come back. Fast passes are a thing.
That's the free ticketed fast passes. The free
ticketed fast passes. Very briefly, if you've never used them, in the olden days you used to go up to a booth that was located physically outside the ride you wanted to ride with your ticket and scan it, and it would give you another ticket for a return time. These fast passes ran out. On busy rides they often ran out by like 11 a.m. or something, and they only had a certain amount per time slot, so quite often you would get a fast pass at 11 a.m. for 5 p.m.
Yeah, and you could only have one at a time as well, so if you got one for 5 p.m. you
or
couldn't
2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, so you could get another one at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, you get another one, yeah.
But often they'd be run out by 1 o'clock anyway. They'd gone. So this was the old system. Now the new system is there's on your app, there's Premier Access Pass, and depending on the busyness of the day, on whether it's peak season or off season, a single person per ride pass can cost between €8 and €15. We haven't got the full price list for this. Now you buy this when you're in the park, potentially stood outside the ride. So you go up to Space Mountain, you go 60 minutes, not doing that. On the app, pay €8. Did I say dollars earlier?
No, I think you said euros.
Did I say euros? Yeah, okay. Pay €8 on the app, and you get a similar thing. You get a return time, but they expect it to be fairly soon. They don't expect it to be 5 hours in advance. They expect it to be in the next sort of 10 minutes. And then you can just skip the line like you used to. So for a family of 4, the cheapest it would be €24, which would be about £20, would it? £22-ish.
Nearly a meal.
Nearly a meal. To go on and do that immediate fast pass. They're not currently offering it as a prepay option before you go on the parks or as part of a package, but there's the option to do so, and I'm fairly sure they will. I'm fairly sure they will pre-sell these, like buy 3 and then
I wonder if the uptake will, if the uptake's low, then they might start doing that,
and they might throw them in like they do meal plans as well.
Yeah,
maybe.
It seems like the kind of thing they'd be able to start chucking at people to as incentives. Yeah.
So, what do we think? Who wants to go first?
I think the thing for me is it ties in with the standby thing as well so much. I think
Shall I explain the standby thing?
Yeah,
as well?
I think so, because the way I've rationalised it probably ties in with that quite a lot.
So the other thing they've done, and again they say this is for certain rides at certain times of the year when a certain queue length is reached.
We've got a list somewhere.
Yes, of which they're capable of operating it for, but it doesn't mean they will.
No.
Then they're going to cut the line up. So let's say hypothetically, Big Thunder Mountain reaches 60 minutes. They will cut the line off. No one's allowed to join it. What you can do is scan the app with the person at the end of the queue, and it will give you a return time for you to then go and queue. Now you still have to go queue. Presumably it will be a greatly reduced queue. Maybe that queue will be 40 minutes instead of 60, but you will still have to go back and queue. It'll just tell you when.
It's kind of like Fastpass minus, isn't it?
Fastpass minus,
like, instead of getting the Fastpass queue, you've got yourself a ticket to get into the real queue.
Everything's shifting. Like the standby queue becomes Fastpass. Fastpass becomes Premier Access.
That's kind of exactly what my thoughts around it are. And
before we go into that, I do want to make it clear with the standby pass that there is a very good chance that you will go at certain times of the year and no rides will be operating them, and it'll be regular queues. They're only going to do it when it gets really busy, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing that interests me, is at what point does it get to the point where it's so busy? And I think like Peter Pan's a good example of this. We know people go down for early magic hours to get on Peter Pan as quickly as they can, because come 11 o'clock, there's already an hour's wait on it, maybe an hour and 20, sometimes 2 hours. And that on that ride, the Fastpass queue is massive, because that is how a hell of a lot of people will get on that ride, is by taking one of those tickets and going on it at a set time. Now, when the standby queue's brought in, so if they bring that in, and let's say they say, well, at the point where we've got an hour's queue, that's when we're going to bring it in. Are they then going to expect to drop that queue down to 40 minutes before they start letting people in on the standby, so it's a 40-minute queue, or do they keep it at an hour? And if they keep it at an hour, how does that work? Because I guess from my point of view, the Fastpass, I probably wouldn't ever pay for one. Well, I don't think I would, because I'm quite prepared to queue for a ride. If I'm given something for free, then fantastic, I will take it and I will use it.
I'm tight, so for the same reason, I can't imagine you like spending money on this system.
So the only time you do it, potentially think to do it, is if the standby queue is such that you get there, you go on the app. I know this stuff about the app anyway, but you go on the app and it says, okay, you can go on the standby, and it's, I don't know, 12 o'clock, but you're not going to get a ticket till 6 o'clock. So you're like, right, do I really want to have to wait until that long? No, I'm going to pay the money and I'll go on sooner. That seems to be the times when you think to use a Fastpass now, which means the Fastpass queue is going to be shorter, which means that the standby queue is going to move quicker, which should mean that they can get more people through the standby queue than they have done in the past, potentially. Yeah. So there's definitely some things about this that might work well. I'm not going to say will, but might work well. And presumably the way the standby queue works, if it gets up to this maximum rate and they're saying, right, the standby queue's on now, and then they say, we're giving out, I don't know, 15-minute intervals or whatever. Is it 15 minutes, 30 minutes that they have with the Fastpass? It's going to be the same. Yeah, 15. So it's going to be roughly the same. So they'll be like, we know we can put 200 people through in 15 minutes or whatever it might be. So that's how it'll work. Bang, bang, bang. As soon as they stop being filled, the standby pass goes off and it goes back to a normal queue again, doesn't it? Presumably. So I kind of don't see where the Fastpass comes in, or the desire to pay for it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I can't imagine being in that, because at first I thought, right, the thing that annoys me about this, and I'll backtrack on this in a sec, but before you'd be in that queue and you'd be going through and you're like, oh, we're next, and then a cast member would say, oh, just a minute, these people going, and you go, oh, well, fair enough. Yeah. They're fast passers, they're smart thinkers, fine. Now what it means is whoa, wait a minute, peasant. Somebody's paid more than you. Yeah. So they're going first. That's how it felt to me when I first heard this. But here's the thing I was going to backtrack on. I can't imagine that there being that many people paying that would happen that often enough for me to be like, oh God, again I'm being held back. Like, that many people aren't going to pay I think.
I mean, things like Buzz Lightyear, no, I just don't think they will.
No.
I mean, that is one of the things, rides on the list, and I just can't see people standing at the entrance of that going, I need to go on it so much, I'll pay 20 quid. Now,
it's a moving ride as well. These ones where you roll on and roll off. I know that one has a habit of stopping quite often. Omnimover, yeah. I knew there was a word for it, but I couldn't remember what it was. You know, yes, it gets incredibly busy, does Buzz Lightyear, but it still moves constantly, so you're always going to have a decent flow going through.
Yeah. The one thing I thought of where I thought if they do this for that attraction, it's going to change everything. And I don't think they will. I don't think it's on the list, but something like the Princess Pavilion. You've got a 6-year-old girl who wants to meet the princess, and you're saying Cinderella's in there and she can't wait to meet you. And it's so exciting, but all the children are getting met and greeted and it's fabulous. But hang on, she's more excited to meet that little girl there whose parents paid more money. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, I just think that would kill Disney for me. That would kill it. Now, as it is, they've never had Fastpass in that attraction, and I hope that they don't for this. But we've got to see that it does have potential. Now, I've always had a problem with... I've said this from the very beginning. When you buy a Disney ticket to a Disney park for the day, you have got your baseline experiences. You've got your parades, fireworks, and rides. And that's what you paid for. Now, all the add-ons that you can get, character meals, experience meals, VIP tours, private, you can pay for private meet and greets if you're very rich. I'm totally behind those because they're add-ons on top. The minute you charge for something that is one of those baseline items, the minute you let people pay that price to get in the park and then charge more for something that should be part of it, I get very upset. Now, having said that, operationally, I think it will probably work in our favour because we very rarely used the paper fast passes. We found them a faff.
Yeah. See, like once after the initial outrage of this, we were discussing it. And we said we'd use Fastpass maybe once a day at Paris.
Oh, once a trip, not even once a day.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think we've used it twice, once on both trips. We went on that.
You actually got them
go on
included.
Ratatouille. Oh, we did get fast passes included. Yes, we did in the second
When
trip.
you went club level.
But that wasn't going. That was better still. That was a better fast pass because you just turned up and you got in the fast pass queue and you went. But the ticketed ones, we used it for Ratatouille. I think that's the only time. Well, we used it for Buzz Lightyear as well. That's it. That's the only time we've ever used it.
Thing is, the two that I would use it for, Ratatouille and Tower of Terror. The problem is that we really don't spend 5 or 6 hours in the Studios park. It tends to be do what you want to do and get out. And if the fast pass, we've gone for fast passes and we've seen that it says 3 p.m. and we've thought we won't be in this park at 3 p.m.
Well, maybe now
so we've not bothered
with
to get
the
one.
new stuff. It's more of an option, that isn't it?
It's to do that, but I do think the standby queue will move quicker. I totally reserve judgment with the standby passes. I don't know when they're going to work. I don't know how they're going to work.
It might be brilliant.
It might be so much better.
It might, yeah.
That
sounds good.
Yeah. But it might also be annoying because the one thing I didn't like about these paid fast passes was having to go back and having to time yourself like, I'm really hungry, I want to go for a meal, but we've got to go back for that standby queue. I think they do give you a half-hour grace period, but that still does affect when you choose to eat your meals and the parade's going to be on and, all that kind of thing.
And there's the usual bit of leeway where you go, I'm 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late, and I'll go, come on, you scamp, get in there, enjoy yourself, and they pat you on the backside. No, they don't. It's not allowed.
Not anymore, no physical contact.
Not anymore.
So go on.
I was going to say, the money-making side of it, I think is quite interesting because having got rid of the paid fast pass system that they had before where you could pay like the ultimate fast pass thing, some people will pay that every time they go. That will have been what they do. Yeah. And then there's people who would look at that and say, do you know what? If I could just have like one fast pass for something, then maybe I'd do it. And that's who it's targeting really, this, because the people who would have paid for it anyway will continue to pay for it. Like you say, it might be in the future they can buy, a pack of 5 or whatever it might be, but they won't think twice about the fact that, you spend €150 on it per person within their group, so they're going to spend that sort of money again. What this is doing is making those people who are borderline thinking about it
potentially make that jump, and that's where they'll make the money.
I think the idea of having it as an in-park, in-app purchase is absolutely genius from a business point of view. Because see, it's equivalent of having chocolate bars next to the checkout, isn't it? Because
that
sandwiches at the service station.
the stuff in TK Maxx that's down by the tills. I love that.
Primark, the amount of time I buy hair grips and trainer socks at Primark just I'm queuing up. So basically, loads of people are going to book the holidays and go, do I want to pay for that Fastpass? No, we won't. We'll queue. We'll be fine. But when they actually get in the park and the kids whinging and this, that, and all the other scenarios that go on, they'll choose to pay it.
Depending on your circumstances, we have never had to get Fastpass as a whole family, have we? It's like I might get a Fastpass while you and Bonnie go off somewhere because Bonnie doesn't ride these rides at the moment, the Fastpass type of rides. So it would just be one of us. I could possibly imagine a scenario where I go, oh, it's just me, I'll pay €8. No, I couldn't actually. I don't know.
I don't know.
Almost. Probably
I don't
not.
know.
I want to say something about the branding though as well, because like that image of Lightning McQueen, he has the smuggest expression on his face. He's like going, I paid more money.
Yeah, God, yeah.
He just,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think it's the best branding.
No.
He doesn't have a friendly open face. He's got that kind of like smug. He's smug.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of Cars. It's who he is as a character at the
Yes.
start of the first Cars film.
Yeah.
Cocky.
And not who he becomes.
Cocky.
They've taken him completely out of context.
We had some comments.
Oh, I really want them. In fact, shall I get the YouTube ones up at the same time?
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, Bob Sangwell, he says he was saying that earlier that he's been working on his book this weekend.
Yes, Bob. Yes.
He says he's happy to wait on access, but to be honest, never really liked Fastpass from the time they came in, but coped with the Fastpass booths. Never liked booking from 60 days out, etc. He also said he enjoys some of the queuing. He enjoys queuing because of the theming in some of the queues. Which is that's true. Like there's certain queues, like in Disney World, where we never actually saw the queues, and like some of them are supposed to be quite good.
Yeah.
David Wilson says he remembers when Alton Towers moved to fast track passes. Now they're scary expensive and really slowed down the non-paying queue. He misses the old days.
David, is this your first time commenting? I know you messaged on Facebook to say you were glad we were doing a show, but I don't remember seeing you in the chat before.
I think it might be. Speaking of which, Amanda FP, hi guys, it's my first time listening to you live on here. Woo!
Hello.
Is this because we're early?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, we've got a completely different audience. We'll have to start doing a show that starts at 5:30 and runs through till half past
marathon
9.
every week.
She'll be focusing on doing the busy rides during extra magic hour instead.
Absolutely, I think that'll become what a lot of people do.
But David also says he'll happily pay a few euros to jump onto Hyperspace Mountain without spending too much time away from his younger family.
Yes.
True.
That's
Single
what
ride is
you
not
said.
usually too bad, though, is it?
The Dunn family say it's coming home.
Yes, Dunn family.
What is Dunn family? It is a universally recognised fact that getting rid of fast passes speeds up the standby queue. But like you just said about Alton Towers, there could be a real snowball effect with this. Because if enough people pay for it, the standby queue will get slower and more people will pay for it. Do you know what I mean? The longer and more tedious it gets to queue, more people are likely to pay it.
It depends what they want, what the actual purpose behind this is, doesn't it, really? If they are out to make money, then they can position it in such a way they can.
Of course they're out to make money.
They can open standbys at a ridiculously low time and pack hordes of people in standby, so that they always know how many people are going to those rides at any time. They can pack it out and make sure there's an hour's wait plus every single one of those rides all the time. I think that there would be uproar if they actually did do that, though.
Yeah.
But
don't put anything past Bob Chapek. He's had a bad year and he wants his money back.
I mean, I said that to you. I said, Chapek, but you know what? He might not be in. He's at the top of the ladder, so he might not be dealing with this stuff. It might be like
Josh D'Amaro.
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 D'Amaro. Yeah, it's more likely to be him, isn't it? He's in charge of this stuff.
Parks and Experiences. He's head of Parks and Experiences. And then, of course, there's Natasha Rafalski.
But
we just go straight to Chapek.
Chapek will be pleased about it, though, because he's these...
I do think that Chapek will have been in charge of saying, look, guys, COVID...
Find me some money.
We've had a complete reset. I want you to look at the grassroots level, how the park is run, find out opportunities for growth. I do think it's him who's in charge of that.
Yeah.
Well, just for balance, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say that I think that they talked about the whole standby situation and went, do you know what, this standby situation, what it'll do is it'll speed up all those queues and it's going to make things so much better. So we don't need those fast passes anymore, so let's get rid of those fast passes completely and actually not have the paid ones like before, but if people do want to pay, then we'll let them do that. And actually... the reality of it is they don't want to make money at all. Like, they don't want to make a penny.
No, of course they don't.
It's all about the end user experience.
Yeah. I think that was the initial outrage, was just this feeling that they were trying to eke more money out of people that have already paid a lot.
Yeah. And to an extent, I think they are.
We're going to have to see.
But this still might improve the guest experience for everyone, no matter what you pay. Now that I've thought about it, like we've all said a bit more, I don't think it's as negative a thing as it appears. I really, like I said, baseline experience, scratching more money out of families who've saved up for 2 years to get there, bad taste in the mouth.
Would rather it wasn't there, to be honest, because as you said before, it wasn't broken before.
No.
The queues were okay and the Fastpass was working. It was fine. Like, what's changed? And then you think, well, the only thing's changed is they need to make some, catch up on some money. Is that what's happened?
They have got technology now. Like we always said, I wish Disneyland Paris would learn how to use modern technology. The fact that we were still doing paper fast passes was a little bit eyebrow raising anyway. So they're like, right, we've worked out how to implement this standby queue.
Yeah, we've practiced it and it's failed miserably with low numbers.
Oh, it did fail miserably, didn't it? But they've got the technology, they've got apps and they can do things in apps. So like, well, we need to get rid of this archaic show your ticket paper thing. What we're going to replace it with. So I think there's that as well.
That's what me and you were discussing.
That's what we were arguing. We were discussing because I was saying, like, imagine like maybe some grandparents want to take the kids in, and I'm being a bit ageist saying this, but because Chris said, well, my dad's 80 and he's fine with that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but
78. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, okay, but my dad's in his like mid to late 60s, and he wouldn't have a clue.
No.
And I just think in general, the more you have to take your phone out, and actually when you're in the park and it's hot, my phone is overheated twice in the parks and just conked out until I've like had to go off and just let it chill out and reset it. And your battery's going to be running out. It's just people are going to be like, oh no, I'm on 2% and I'm supposed to be doing this. Or
why do you think they put these charging stations all over the park?
Well, a bit more, get a bit more cash out of this.
That's another bit of news I missed. I've not been good this week. They have put loads of
they're on the map
vending machines, basically vending machines, pay to play, charging stations. There is one free charging station at the rear of Videopolis. If you take your own cable, there's like a chill out lounge kind of thing. So that's where I recommend you do it.
I would recommend take a backup battery.
Yeah, we do. We do that as well.
Just do it anyway.
But if you're caught short, then they do have vending machines. And your backup battery, at this rate, if you are trying to do video and communicate with people and do fast passes and all the rest of it, you could easily drain your battery and your backup battery depending on the size of it.
Yeah, potentially.
Right, so we had some comments on I did a breaking news video earlier in the week, and Susie said, I don't like the new system, but to be honest, if people are happy enough to spend €130 to enter the park for one day, they're probably going to be okay spending more to ride the rides. If you love Disney, you love Disney, and Disney knows that, which is why they can get away with charging whatever they want, because they know we'll always find a way to go back. Now,
I did disagree with that because I'm one of those people who's happy to pay the money to get into the park, but I'm not happy to go, well, it's just a bit more on top of that. I'd say, no, enough's enough. So I'm actually the person in that scenario. So I'm like, well, actually, that doesn't tally with me.
And there are families who save up every penny for this trip. They save up for years for this trip, and they're maxed out. They're genuinely maxed out. So, you know.
Do you know, just something that's just occurred to me, I was thinking about which rides this means. Basically, this is going to kill Discoveryland because Buzz Lightyear, Star Tours, Hyperspace Mountain and Autopia are all ones that are impacted by this. So unless you're an Orbitron fan, just forget it. Just forget it. You can go charge your phone.
On things like, do you know what? Autopia is one we enjoy doing as a family. It's very cute as a family. And I hate that queue and it's always long.
It's awful.
I might even consider it for Autopia, but I can't see people doing this for Buzz Lightyear.
Nothing. Do you know, in a queue where there's literally nothing to look at but the other people because you go in a spiral in and out.
And the Fastpass queue in that is infuriating because you see them all just come in and march their way to the front.
Everyone just
it's not like the others where they just either gradually feeding further down the line or they just come in at a different bit. It's not good. Bob said something about the theming earlier, didn't he? In the chat about he doesn't mind queuing because he likes the theming. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean. Merrily
not
do
Peter
Pirates.
Pan.
Yeah.
You know, you don't stand 40 minutes just stood in a metal queue. There's nothing there to see.
No, yeah. There's not much in the Pirates of the Caribbean queue, actually, when it comes down to it, to look at. But the bit when you get into the loading area is nice.
There's music there.
But I know...
Atmosphere.
I could draw you a map of every little section of the Pirates queue. And, I think it would be pretty perfectly accurate. There's not actually that much there. But there's just a mood in there which is enjoyable.
I said before, I was gutted. We got a walk on last time we went, and so you just completely missed the entire atmosphere. And the first time we went, we were in a 30-minute queue, I think, and it was brilliant. Every last little bit about it was just fantastic.
Because you're not just stood staring like that for 30 minutes. You're constantly moving forward, and the scenery's changing, and the music's on, and it's fab. I love that queue. I wouldn't balk at a 40-minute wait in that queue because it'd fly by.
I never balk at a 40-minute wait. It doesn't bother me.
The word balk, as I've noticed, has really started appearing in across loads of Disney channels. And I noticed it this week, and then you've just said it, and you've said it, and I thought...
I'm on trend.
Are people just learning... Because I've used that word, quite a lot in my time. And
all right. You've been a bit hipster about this.
So, back in the day, I was there at the start of Balk, and now people are saying it.
I liked the Happy Mondays before they were cool.
It's funny, it's like in the last few days, because we're all watching each other's shows, everyone started saying Balk. Look it up if you don't know, it's Baulk, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
Hannah Marie.
Went quiet.
Hannah Marie Piazza, friend of the show. Hello,
she says
Hannah.
Just call her Hannah, but we always full name her.
Hannah.
She's also the Ariel Hairy Bella
I'm
button.
going to call her H.
Yes.
Alton Towers Thorpe Park have a similar model but with a bundle Fastpass packages. I'm quite happy with it as it means the usual queues will hopefully be shorter and the days you are absolutely desperate to ride something should be almost instant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I think that's what they want.
Is there going to be a situation where someone who's like the phone's died or they just don't have the app, so they can't, they're not technically minded, they're just not going to be able to get on a ride? They're going to be like, I want to go on Haunted Mansion, and there's no way for them to get in.
Yeah.
Phantom Manor's not a Fastpass queue, though, is it?
Sorry, Phantom Manor. No, but I mean, that was just as an example. Anything that is,
I think some people just won't know it's a thing. They'll be really caught off guard by it. They'll wonder what's going on. They'll be like, why are all these people walking past?
As we said before, people at Disney World have no idea what Fastpass is, and we're like, how?
I mean, it's a huge thing at Disney World.
How have you got this far? And I've seen them going where do I get a Fastpass?
Yeah, it's weird. Sam Metcalf. I'm really not sure how I feel about this, to be honest. On the one hand, I think it's unfair if people have to pay. They've spent enough on their dream trip anyway, and now they have to pay more to get more rides done in their trip. That's what I say. It should all be in there. Mm-hmm. But equally, if you aren't buying them for the entire family, and there is a particular ride you want to ride, and the rest of your party don't want to ride, then maybe it's a good thing. Get the ride done quicker so you can get back with your party. Real mixed feelings, to be honest. I think that's when we... as a threesome on this side, not as a threesome over there, sorry. But
that's why I'm sat here, by the way.
That is the only instance I can imagine us paying for it if we only pay for it for one person. And it's most likely to be a big thrill ride that Hugh wants to go on to get done or to experience, not to get done, that sounds cynical, but it's, you do, don't you? Like, I want to go on that before the end of the trip. And me and Bonnie want to do other things. And I think that's when we're most likely to do it. Even then, I'm not sure. But for paying for a family of 3, And that's a small family, is 3. People have to go as a family of 6. It's a big financial
I just think
chunk.
I just think it doesn't apply to me. It's not aimed at me. It's not something that's ever going to bother me.
Also,
I will go
we've
do
been
something
before,
else instead.
and we will go again. I think we can also, we've been before, we'll go again. If this is your only trip of your lifetime, it might feel different. You might want to do everything instantly.
I think we might be losing volume when we turn to speak to each other.
Is that what Bob was saying? Okay.
Bob
Yes, that makes sense, because yes, he said something about left and right. Yes, my microphone's over here.
Yeah.
And it should be over there. It's because I've not worn appropriate clothing today.
I think maybe me hugging Lotso isn't...
How about now? If I just
Do you know the best thing to do
awkwardly turn like this?
is to just do that.
Do you know it is?
You're going to hear the scratch of your thumb.
Right,
and stuff
have we...
Well, there's one more comment that I liked
Go on,
from Jill Hothersall. I had this earlier. I smashed it, and I was like, she'll be impressed that I've got a surname like,
Let's have a look.
It's Hothersall.
Hothersall, I'd go for, yeah.
Jill Hothersall said, "Forget ka-chow," because of Lightning McQueen. It's all about ka-ching.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
I mean,
I like
very
that.
good, Jill.
They could have enhanced that by saying, "Am I right, guys?"
Yeah!
Which I like to drop into a comment now and again. Am I right, guys? I'm going to put this back on.
Right.
This microphone.
If I may, guys, I'm going to move on from this.
Do it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, because
So-
we've got a fairly hard finish at 6:30 because our Chinese food's arriving.
Yeah.
Okay, I can keep that in mind. I feel rather unprofessional, just kind of slouched on the sofa with my laptop.
Comfy
We usually
though,
have
innit?
the whole thing. Oh yeah, this is the dream. So this hit probably a very niche Facebook group this weekend, and that is the UK Staycation Disney Magic at Sea Cruise Group. That's the full title.
Wow.
So because we're going on the UK Staycation cruise, and somebody found. Apparently they went for the muster when they were on a Disney cruise a couple of years ago, and they found a training pack for the crew of how to deal with British passengers. So they've got the cultural knowledge of the United Kingdom for international crew members on an American ship. And I find it's not particularly Disney. This is for Disney cast members.
Does it have Watto and Roger and all that stuff? I just hope it's traditionally very.
It's about what we do
school.
and do not do.
Yeah, I'm going to read a few bits.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, just as an example, before I start from the beginning, you recommended that we watch some YouTube videos on Italian hand gestures.
Oh yeah,
and we did do, and we learned what they all meant and all that stuff. We learned all this.
Careful what you're doing there.
Oh yeah.
Leave my mother out of this.
But I was like, we don't really have anything like that. Of course we do. And on here it says, if they tap the side of the nose, it means confidential or secret. And I'm like...
You ain't seen me, right?
Yes, that's right. 1920s spies did used to do that.
So this apparently is an English gesture, but British. Sorry, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. I didn't realise that this wasn't a universal thing. Apparently this is a British gesture.
There you go.
So that's one that's on there. Anyway, I'm going to have a little read of this. Meeting and greeting.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Susie.
Susie's here.
A handshake is standard for business and occasions and when visiting a home, but not socially.
Does it talk about how firm it should be?
Fair enough, it doesn't.
Oh.
So...
Not socially. That's not true.
No, what that means... a lot of British people don't greet each other.
This is for cast members on a cruise. So what I think it's saying is it's not correct to do that.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Hey, how are you today?
If a waiter shook your hand, you would be like... Whoa. Yeah. So they're saying it's for business and when going to someone's home.
Okay.
They're not doing there. Women do not always shake hands. So, I mean, they've already told them not to shake hands, but women don't always shake hands. And I think is that true? What do you think?
What, women shaking each other's hands?
Anybody's hands.
Generally.
I find it weird when you see a guy shake, there's a group of people and he'll shake all the men's hands and skip the women.
Yeah, no, in a business situation, you shake hands and say...
Yeah, I think it's more prevalent now, but I'm not surprised by that, to be honest. And sometimes I get offered a handshake and I'm like, oh, all right, because I think men are a lot more used to it than women are. We don't tend to, generally. When introduced, say, how do you do instead of nice to meet you.
How do you do, little girl?
How do you do?
I've never said how do you do.
How do you do? I'd be like, I do okay, thank you.
How the devil are you? That's
But
what I say.
How do you do?
Do you say nice to meet you?
Yes.
Right.
Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
I was at a party last night. People said it left, right, and centre.
Yeah, you do, don't you? It's,
Yeah.
it's one of those throwaway things like,
It's actually-
you all right?
It's actually normally at the end when you're saying goodbye, like, see ya, nice to meet
It
you.
was
Yeah,
lovely
nice
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
See you later. But you wouldn't say, oh, this is, my boyfriend Steve, and you go, oh, nice to meet you. You'd say, all right, Steve.
Yeah, maybe. So maybe not as a greeting, maybe as
I've heard a lot
party.
about you.
Yeah.
Avoid repeat. Oh, this one's interesting.
Oh.
Avoid repeating other people's names often during the conversation. Now, this at first I thought it was strange, and then I thought I remember
Chris.
Chris meeting people when I was stateside, Chris. And they'd learn your name at the beginning of the conversation, Chris, and then they would just drop it in like this. And I remember going, say my name all the time. Why do they keep saying my name? And then I thought, no, we don't do that really.
No.
Not as prevalent.
They did that a lot on Party of Five. But also, like, in a really weird way where there'd be a pause before the name. Like, Neve Campbell's character, she'd always go, I just don't know. Bailey, what we're going to do? They'd always do a pause before the name.
This is so specific.
And they all did it on that show, Party of
This
Five.
is what
They all did it.
Steve Campbell was doing
I
in the
don't know if that
90s.
was a colloquial thing or what, but they can't have all been actors from the same neck of the woods just for that show. I don't know where it was set.
Okay, gestures. The English tend to maintain a wider physical space between conversation partners. I am
True.
down with this.
Yes.
That's because Brits have
I think we do.
we've all got
I've got bad breath.
we've all got halitosis, so we're all like, whoa.
And also, it's all got worse since smoking inside stopped because you can smell everything.
And coffee's on the rise. Like better coffee is on the rise. So I don't know if anyone knows this, but if you drink coffee, you take it from me, your breath smells like dog muck.
Just out of interest, don't you feel much more comfortable today because we're just that little bit further apart from each other
Yeah,
than when our
genuinely.
elbows are, shoulders are touching?
As a Brit, yes,
I mean, I just thought this was a human thing, but I do think we're just generally more reserved in so many ways until it comes to football matches, and then all our standards break down.
Or gigs.
And we start our gigs.
So don't get in your face. They're saying don't get in a Brit's face.
Allow a little bit of space.
I work internationally, and I would say that I recognise all of this in myself. Particularly when I work, when I do go over to Italy or to Switzerland,
Italians,
and how much more touchy feely I'm going to say that they are than we are. It's you kind of have to throw yourself into it because otherwise you come across as very strange.
Well, I'm going to rattle through a few now because this is a Disney document, but it's not terribly Disney, and I think
13
we are
minutes
going to agree with
to
it.
Chinese.
Yeah. The British do not reveal excitement or other emotions. Try to keep yours restrained as well. Now, yeah, I don't know.
When's this from?
Well, we don't cheer and yelp at
It was
everything.
found pre-pandemic, so I'm imagining it's only like 2018 or 2019.
Compared to the Americans, maybe, but I don't think that's... It just sounds like...
We're a terrible audience. We make a terrible
1950s.
audience. We don't...
Oh, yeah.
I know most people listening are British, but I also know we have Australian and American listeners who tune in regularly. And the thing is that people stand-up comedians hate playing British audiences because we'll go... We'll laugh like that. And inwardly, we think it's hilarious, but we literally go...
Conversely, I enjoy this Stephen Colbert show a lot less now that it's back in the studio.
Yeah, why are they whooping all the time?
And you know, when the
Just
audience will cheer at very specific things, and like you just have to sit, and that's why I don't watch also the American version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, because it's about 20% of it is audience noise, and I just want to get to it.
Yeah, forced
I
laughter.
won't watch that anymore.
Do you know, very quickly, I know I'm trying to stick to Disney and then we go off on one. You all know I work in the dance industry. I'm a dance teacher. Yes. I did a training course once with some Canadians. They came over and they were presenting this training course, and then they showed us a girl doing a solo to demonstrate what they were talking about. And it was in front of a North American audience. And every time this girl did a pirouette or a impressive layout, the audience would like literally cheer. I mean,
it must be so off.
They were like whooping, they were going, whoa! And the music she was dancing to was Schindler's List. Right. And this audience was cheering. So they stopped this video and somebody said, and the trainer went, does anyone have any questions? And somebody put their hand up and went, are all audiences like that where you're from? And then everybody went, yeah, that was disgusting. Did you hear the way that they were making? Did you hear? They were cheering. What were they doing? That was so rude. And I think this woman was like, what was wrong with that? I mean, I bet she thinks we're rude, just sitting there clapping. But to kind of cheer at a dancer is so vulgar and rude and off-putting while they're dancing. At the end of the routine, maybe. Anyway.
Chris has got some things to show as well, so we need to
factor
that.
I don't have to show them.
I want you to.
Rattle. I've told you about the tapping the nose one. If you show the victory sign, make sure it's palm forward. What I find interesting about that
in what world would you do that?
They don't explain why.
Photographs.
It must be that. But they don't explain to these American people why. Basically, excuse me, British audience, that is as bad as showing the finger.
Listeners, Lucy is flipping the V's.
I am flipping the V's. That's as bad as showing the middle finger, basically, in the UK. Yeah. And it's a weird thing. It's a historic thing because archers used to pull things like this and we were known for our archers. And when the French captured us, they'd cut the two fingers off. So it was an insult from the French to the British, but it's still very offensive. You would never do it to anyone.
People do it frequently.
Oh, they do, but...
This is one of the things, isn't it? These things, yes.
In an aggressive
It's seen as
way.
offensive, yeah.
They do it in an aggressive... It's not a polite thing to do.
No.
The British are very proud and patriotic to their individual nations. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I think that's true of the Irish, the Scottish and the Welsh. I think the English are filled with deep self-loathing. Personally.
Well, it's half and half. It's either that or like England and only England.
And those people tend to be.
Don't say it. Yeah. It's not like people go, yeah, I'm proud to be from the UK. You never say that, do you? It's all about England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Especially when the football's on.
Other than football, I don't find the English particularly patriotic. I don't know about you. I think generally we'd.
I think our patriotism has been tarnished massively by political goings on over the last few years.
Yes.
So, you know,
basically,
it's a difficult thing to be patriotic at the moment.
There are many different regions with different accents and traditions, and they are very proud of their individual regions. For example, Yorkshire, Cornwall, London.
And Newcastle.
Examples of regions.
And then and then in the accents it's Liverpool, Birmingham, Newcastle, Manchester.
Does it say boss?
But
Boston.
being proud of each other. I am
Grand.
Dead proud to be from Yorkshire, and I'm dead proud to have a northern accent as well.
I'm dead proud to be an Essex boy.
Oh, you are an Essex boy.
I am.
We got him young though. We got him young.
See, I like Yorkshire, but I don't. I'm not like I'm proud to be from.
Oh, I
there.
am, and I play up to it a bit when
I think it's.
You don't want independence like every other Yorkshireman.
I don't even go in for the. It's from Lancashire. You got to watch out. It's from Lancashire.
No, I don't get into that.
That's so boring.
We have a friend who won't go to Manchester because he dislikes the county so much.
I don't buy into that.
He's faddy though, he's faddy. And then it goes on about massive sports fans, soccer is the biggest thing, etc. They're trying to explain that the Queen's English is an extremely rare dialect.
Yeah, the kind of people who say, how do you do?
Yes, how do you do? It is a very, very rare dialect. And if newsreaders from the 50s is an accent you will never, ever hear anyone speaking in Britain. And often when Americans do British accents on American TV programmes, they come up with this Queen's English accent, which is incredibly niche.
Yeah.
And then it's, they do the whole language thing. A trash can is a rubbish bin. Soft drink is soda.
Did they explain that soccer is football when they mentioned soccer?
Yes, they do.
Oh, good.
It's the national game. And then they tell us what time we have lunch and dinner and things like that.
And how much we are likely to drink in the meal.
Yes.
And some people insist on calling it tea instead of dinner. And dinner instead of lunch.
Building this is the last one I want to mention. Oh, they say that they're not used to tipping. Be prepared to prompt for the tip. So the thing is, we will generally be very happy, and I'm not just speaking for us, I think as a nation, we'd be very happy to tip. We're not tight, it's not that.
I'm a generous tipper now.
We're just not used to tipping. I feel like I'm explaining myself to all of America.
So going on all of that, do you think when they say prompt for tipping, is it going to be, excuse me, sir?
I think they're very comfortable just going, here's your bill, the gratuity isn't included, that's the suggested amount. And I'm very comfortable with people doing that.
Or they'll say, was everything okay with your meal?
Yeah, they do. They're so offended if you don't.
Was everything okay with your meal?
And in that panic
nice
way,
to meet you.
Like,
how do you do? Anything?
Is that the right amount? Should I be tipping that? It's terrible. You were chased out of a bar in New York,
No,
weren't
I
you?
wasn't. A friend was. It was not through me.
Okay.
No, I like tipping in New York.
Building the emotional connection.
Slide it under
British guests are very conservative. It will take a little longer to break down the barriers. Icebreakers will be very important. Get to know your guest, where they're from, have they travelled with us before, what are they looking for from the cruise. British do have a fantastic sense of humour, and will be very friendly with you once they feel comfortable. Now, I really love that they give these out to cast members. It is about rapport.
And there's one of these for every single country in the world.
It's a hell of a lot of reading.
And I quite like it because I think there's a big misconception about British people abroad in that we are quite standoffish in space, and we won't make we're not overly friendly and talk to strangers in queues. But I don't think we're cold as a nation. I think we are quite warm. We just don't do that initially.
A bit uptight.
We are a bit uptight.
But we're all right.
We're blooming awful.
Yeah.
Right, I'm done. What are you showing?
I took a bit of a trip today to the local mall. Mall? Mal.
Do you know
are we in American?
I thought you were going to say morgue.
Morgue. Local morgue. Funny you should say that.
Were there any comments about Britishness? Should we say?
Well, Susie was saying it happens in London musicals when Elphaba comes on stage for the first time.
Yeah.
The crowd goes mad.
Oh,
it
in
does.
London?
Yeah, I think the more and more musicals in the West End, you tend to get those kind of reactions now.
Bob also says that he started 3 miles from Yorkshire and became an Essex boy.
Yeah, we've discussed this before, haven't we, Bob?
We've talked about this, Bob.
Moving on.
We'll forgive you, Bob.
So yeah, I decided to take what could be my final opportunity to go to our local Disney store, and there was a sale on. So I thought I'm going to stick to the sale items. The boys were with me, so they walked around and tried to get me to buy them all sorts of different things. At the moment, they want the little alien grabber toy from Toy Story, but it's £35, and it's just a bunch of plastic, so they can forget it. But I then saw, just around the corner from that, a notebook, and I needed a new one anyway, and it's a nice Marvel one. There you go. Ooh, shiny.
But when we start reviewing the Marvel films.
I thought that was a box all this time.
It's not a box.
It's been there.
It's not a box.
A box, but it's a book. It's a notebook.
And then the other thing is...
listeners, it's a black and white Marvel notebook.
Very slick.
It's very nice and sharp.
Then the other thing I bought was this £1 box to put the things that are inside it, because you have to buy a box these days, just like you have to buy carry bags. They don't just box things for you. Another way that they're making money. And what else do you buy when there's a sale on?
Baubles.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. So I got the 2 baubles that I was trying to get the boys to buy last year when they chose other things. Firstly, got this nice little one here.
That's great for the audio.
Oh, Chris is holding up a was it branded Haunted?
It's
Haunted
buggy.
Mansion, yes, a Dune buggy.
Mansion Dune buggy with the 3 characters in.
Yes, and audience, listeners, you've just heard me rustling tissue paper right next to my microphone, so that must have been very pleasant for all of you. I hadn't thought about that. And then the other one, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it further down. Where is it? Oh, it's getting away from me. The other one, I think, is a very good festive one, personally. It's Buzz in a box. It's Buzz in a box.
Great.
Oh, that's nice.
That is great.
So,
unfortunately,
Buzz Lightyear in...
What? Prepare for hypersleep. Shields to maximum.
he talks.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So it's Buzz in his rocket-shaped packaging.
Yeah.
Miniature. That's really cute.
Buzz
It's
in a
nice,
box.
isn't it? The only thing I would say about
Does
all
he
of these
come out of
baubles,
there?
it doesn't look like it. No, I hope not, because I'm not sure how I'd deal with that. Yeah, the only thing I would say about these baubles is they're weighty. They're very weighty.
Yeah, your tree's going to be... You spread them out on your tree.
Yeah.
But it's going to go there with the 3 Caballeros that you guys got me for Christmas last year.
Oh yeah.
And a number of others that we bought because it's become a bit of a habit now. But there you are. So yeah, bought a couple of things. Might have been my last trip to the Disney store.
Don't say that. I feel like I should go this week just because. I mean, when have we got any kind of date?
Don't think so, no.
No.
But we know it's coming, so
We'll find out.
just got to make the most of it.
They'll tell us. We'll find out.
Yeah, there you are.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that might wrap it up,
Yes.
so to speak. So we have got, I'm going to tell you what we've got for our evening. We've pre-booked a Chinese to arrive at the end of this, and we're going to have a nice little Rain Fletcher feast ahead of tonight's football.
Yes.
Apparently, it's
Which
coming
Lucy is
home.
really looking forward to. She
I
loves a bit of
honestly,
football.
I wasn't feeling too great when I got here, and I thought I might bow out the football for a bubble bath. And then I remembered that our bathroom window goes right over the neighbours' area, and they are known for their loud partying. And I thought the bubble bath won't relax me,
No.
so I think I'll stay and watch the football instead.
Keep the window shut. You normally keep the window shut.
I do.
And you should open it really.
There we are.
I'll turn the fan on.
Right. So thank you very much for joining us. This has felt very differently. It's probably looked very different.
Yeah.
But hopefully it will sound the same and you've got your usual Disney chats. If you want to tell us what you think about Britishness, what you would like to tell
So,
Yeah, I've just seen some chat.
yeah, Bob Sanger was recommending you sit on the loo and do word searches.
Oh, that would be, yes, I will do that. I probably would enjoy that more, Bob.
With Bob's book.
If you want to tell us what you would like to tell American cast members about British people to help them improve.
Yes.
Oh, one of them that I didn't read out was avoid the hard sell.
Yes.
Because we really got caught by that in America, didn't we?
I can't be sold to.
I mean, there's.
Unless I already want it.
It's funny because we bought a car a couple of weeks ago and the approach was very different from the approach we'd had in America. It was very sideways, it was very subtle, and she managed to sell us the car.
It was like.
But this was like, I mean, we recoiled at the DVC salesman. We went like that.
Snake charms. What's a snake called in Jungle Book?
Oh, car.
Well, yeah, we've been. Yeah, we're
By
buying
car
a
salesman.
Yeah. Right,
and we bought a car as well, a K8. No, we didn't.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all next week. You know where to find us. Bye.
Bye.
How do you do? How do you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.